our team in Washington has been very effective, both ours and these as citizens, pulling together, honoring we get massive compliance with my order, and that's why we've been successful in Washington's have been committed. So it's a lot of things, we're not letting this distract us. We're moving forward both in a way to protect our health and our economy, because we all know the way to protect the economy is to restore our health. They go hand in hand. They're not enemies, they're partners, and we're making good decisions in that direction.
To be fair, you guys were running through it. You had to come at this, with fresh eyes. The country was asleep on it when you started dealing with it, and a lot of the learning curve was for your experiences in that state. You've opened up parks. You have an order that you're going to phase in to have some businesses open up, so it's not like you're completely closed. You have not met the CDC guidelines for 14 days of down cases, which means technically you're being more aggressive than the federal standard. What more do they want at this point?
Sort of a political statement, and I think it is being driven by a political interest. That's all I can figure out. The biology is clear. The interest in human life is clear. The only motivation that I can figure out is trying to follow this siren song from the president, who somehow believes that's in his political interest. And as I've said, it's most unfortunate.
Now, here's what you're dealing with that it doesn't make sense to me. There's this urgency for COVID to go away. Everybody shares that. But we don't see the desperation to make it go away. And in fact, what your state is experiencing is a perfect example of how the federal government has not motivated what needs to happen to create these circumstances to have COVID go away. You still don't have the personal protective equipment that you need for the capacity in your hospital. The testing and tracing that they want you to do, it's on the state, to reopen the way they want. You don't have the money to fund it, and you don't have the testing resources to do it and get it processed and turned around. So how can you do what they want you to do when they don't give you the money or the equipment to do it?
That's an excellent question for which there is no answer. Look, we have to stand up a domestic manufacturing mobilization of our industrial base in the United States in order to solve this problem. I just literally walked out of a meeting where we're trying to figure out if we can stand up a domestic manufacturing base. We do have several companies that are making masks and visors and gloves right now, but we're now starting to look to get a domestic manufacturer of swabs, for goodness sakes. And as you know, we have not been able to do the tests we need. And the thing that is interesting, and it's a little counterintuitive, the need for testing and the need for PPE is going to go up as we reopen the economy, not down. And I think people are just really, including the administration to some degree, have not realized that the demand for these products, as we reopen the country, as people come back to work, they're going to need more tests, even as the infection rate might go down. They're going to need more people in construction and manufacturing and restaurants to be able to have the masks we need. So we're in a full-scale effort in our state to try to potentially grow our own industrial capacity, but we know that there's only one person in the whole country that has the ability to actually order this to be done, and that's the President of the United States. So
you said the President's response has been infuriating to you. Why?
Well, because there's only one person that can save us from the lack of this material. That's the President of the United States by using the Defense Production Act. I urged him weeks ago to do that, and he refused to do so because he thought that was not his responsibility. He described that he didn't want to be a supply clerk, as if that's a diminished role. But I think providing PPE and testing material is an exalted responsibility right now. So I was very disappointed he did not do that for weeks. Now, one good sign, because we're always looking for good news, there has been some movement in the administration to bring in some of the Defense Department supply chain to use the Defense Production Act in at least small ways. And we have been told by Admiral Gerard that we'll be receiving 500 million swabs in the next several weeks. This will be tremendous if this happens. And so we want to continue that effort. We want to encourage that effort by the administration. We have a number of voices in the administration, I think in good faith, to try to encourage that mobilization. And if it's successful, it'll be a bright day. But until then, the states are on their own, as you know, including the brother's great work. So we're going to keep the pedal to the metal in our state.
I mean, even if they give you everything that's been talked to at this point, obviously you have the right criticism that it hasn't happened already, but you still wouldn't have what you need to test your population where you want to reopen on an ongoing basis. And, there are two different signals coming out of the White House. There is, maybe we'll give you these things, as you just mentioned, but you also have the Attorney General who says he's considering legal action against governors if they do what he deems too stringent of a restriction. It happens to be language that's echoed in lawsuits against you by Republicans right now. Are you worried that you may have your federal government doing more to hurt you than to help you?
Not as much as maybe you might think, because we beat the federal government. We defeated Donald Trump 26 times in a row. Our excellent Attorney General Bob Ferguson is 26 and 0 Donald Trump's ignoring the law and the Constitution frequently. No, it is clear that our states do have authority to protect our people in the U.S. Constitution. There's no question about that. Donald Trump sort of had a hasty retreat on that subject when he said he was in total control. And then he said he was going to authorize us to authorize our U.S. Constitution to act and by the vote of our people in our states, both Republicans and Democrats. So I think we're going to have free ground. I think we'll prevail in these lawsuits. There are more political statements than anything, so that we can protect our people. And this is about life. And I have to tell you, I had a meeting with nurses today, who are our heroes, of course.
Today is National Nurse Appreciation Day.
National Nurses Week. And I had a meeting with them today, and they were comparing some of the rhetoric we're hearing out from some Republican politicians that, these are just kind of old folks. And that is so offensive to me to think that people over the age of 60 are sort of disposable humans. Being 69, I certainly don't appreciate that. There was a nurse who was about 65 who didn't appreciate it. And look, these are losses of living people. When we lose a brother or a parent or a grandparent, it's a loss to the living. And that's what's at stake here. And I just really, it boils my blood when I hear the comments from some of these Republican legislators that this is just a problem with folks at some age, so we shouldn't just worry about it. I can't stand that. That will not stand. We need to speak against it, call it out for what it is, which is inhumane selfishness, and make sure that we continue on this course that the vast majority of people, at least in my state, believe is the right one.
It is scary how quickly life got cheap in America. Well, Governor, we know this from the polls. Your leadership has never been more praised than it is right now. So politically, you're in your prime. Governor Inslee, good luck going forward. We remain a platform for you to make your case to the American people.
Thank you very much. We're glad you're looking good, and keep washing your hands.
Well, thank you, Governor. You will. All right, washing our hands is one thing, but have you seen what's happening to some people's feet? COVID toes. By the way, that is nothing. We don't want to scare you too much right off the bat, but here's the thing. It's not about showing you scary pictures. It's what do they mean? Is this a new symptom that we have to look out for? Sanjay Gupta, the foot finder, next.
One-on-One, brought to you by T-Mobile, keeping you connected to everything that matters most. 24/7 help is always available at T-Mobile.com.
Hey, mama, what's up? I'm confused.
Confused about what? Everything okay?
I only see one price on my phone bill. That doesn't sound confusing, mama.
You're on T-Mobile. Taxes and fees are included.
Oh, come on. There's always extra fees.
Not on T-Mobile, Mama.
Why can't all my bills be like this?
I don't know, Mama. Bye, Mama. Love you.
Auntie?
At T-Mobile, taxes and fees are included. Right now, when you switch your family, get 4 lines unlimited for $35 a line. Get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. Order online or via the Advanced Auto Parts mobile app with Advanced Same Day. Get same day pickup, same day curbside, or same day delivery. Advance how you order, how you get parts, how you keep moving. Advance your auto. Advanced Auto Parts.
Honey? We ordered twins for each of the kids, a dog bed for Ziggy, and a king.
The king has arrived.
You ever seen your dad cry?
Setup was super easy.
Yeah,
You get 100 nights to try it. I'll be 10 by then, so I might have my own place.
Really?
Sweet.
I think the kids like it.
You try to stay ahead of the mess, but scrubbing still takes time. Now there's new Dawn Power Wash Dish Spray. It's the faster way to clean as you go. Just spray, wipe, and rinse. It cleans grease 5 times faster. New Dawn Power Wash. Spray, wipe, rinse.
Hey, safe driver, save 40%. Guys.
Safe driver save 40%.
Safe driver, save 40%.
Safe driver save 40%. That's safe driver save 40%.
It is, but safe driver save 40%. Right there, it's it.
Safe drivers do save 40%. Click or call for a quote today.
Did you know Prilosec OTC can stop frequent heartburn before it begins? Heartburn happens when stomach acid refluxes into the esophagus. Prilosec OTC uses a unique delayed release formula that helps it pass through the tough stomach acid. It then works to turn down acid production, blocking heartburn at the source. With just 1 pill a day, you get 24-hour heartburn protection. Prilosec OTC. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn.
The ups and downs of frequent mood swings can plunge you into deep depressive lows, or give you unusually high energy, even when depressed. Overwhelmed by bipolar depression? Ask about Vraylar. Some medications only treat the lows or the highs. Vraylar effectively treats depressive, acute manic, and mixed episodes of bipolar 1. Full spectrum relief of all symptoms, with just 1 pill once a day. Elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis have increased risk of death or stroke. Call your doctor about unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may mean a life-threatening reaction, or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. Metabolic changes may occur. Movement dysfunction, restlessness, sleepiness, stomach issues are common side effects. When bipolar depression overwhelms, ask how Vraylar can help.
Cancer won't wait. It won't wait for a convenient time or for hospitals to get back to normal again. And that's why at Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we aren't waiting. We're right here, still focused on the only thing we do, providing world-class cancer care all under one roof. Because cancer isn't just what we do, it's all we do. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Call now for an appointment.
Trump and co. keep trying to play down testing. It is dishonest and destructive, and it is done by design. Exhibit A from new Press Secretary Haley, I cannot tell a lie, McAdoo.
If we tested every single American in this country at this moment, we have to retest them an hour later and then an hour later after that, because at any moment you could theoretically contract this virus. So the notion that everyone needs to be tested is just simply nonsensical. The people who need to be tested are vulnerable populations. We have to be strategic with our testing, and we have done that so far.
She has everything there wrong, except the idea that you can't test everybody all the time. But whoever asked for that? That was never the standard. In fact, the only person who ever could find anything like that was Trump, who falsely lied to you that there would be enough tests for anybody who wants one. That was supposed to happen weeks ago. And the reason nothing even close to it has happened is because he has done almost nothing to make it happen.
Say frog or rhino.
Ooh, okay.
Because frog is such a crowd pleaser.
It
Such
is.
a crowd pleaser.
Indeed. Jackie, it has been so nice having you on our show, but we couldn't let her
leave. The longer it is real, the worse it is for Trump in the election.
The expert help of Morgan Morgan. They've been with us every step of the way. Thank you, Morgan Morgan.
There's only one. Good to see you. Now, the reason we've been hammering on testing and tracing is you don't know what to do if you don't know what you're dealing with. And hospitalizations are important. But reopening is about exposing communities, Sanjay. And unless you just want to guess, there's only one way to make smart decisions, right?
Yeah, I mean, you need to have the data. That's always been the case. Testing was the pivotal part of this. continues to be the pivotal part of this and will be the most important thing. And without the data, you really couldn't make these decisions. I think what's interesting, Chris, is there is these various criteria, right? Sickest people should get tested first, healthcare workers who have symptoms, then healthcare workers without symptoms, and then basically everybody else. But the real question, I think, becomes as you start to think about opening, and I think this is what those gating criteria are sort of getting at, was how do you get people the confidence to start going back out in public? In many of these places that are reopening, one of the things you're seeing, Chris, is that people still don't want to go out because, they're frightened that either they'll contract the virus or they'll, pass the virus on to somebody else. So for that reason, you got to have testing. How do you get the psychological confidence back into people? I think that's one of the reasons. And I don't know how many tests it is. If you look at that Harvard roadmap, they do say that ultimately it's, they say up by July, 20 million tests a day. Okay, that's a lot, right? That would be every person in the country roughly twice a month, every 14 days. Now that's arbitrary, but it's that level of test. Maybe it's not that number, but that's sort of an idea of testing that we need to be doing very robustly, where people are on a regular basis, make sure it's accurate, make sure they get the results quickly. That's going to be necessary.
Right. The paradox is his play politically, the president, is to get people back out there, but he's not giving them the thing that'll give them confidence to get back out there, which is the recognition of the risk. All right, now, something else. I want to talk to you about the agony of defeat. This, what's it called? Chilblains or something like this? These feet pictures that I keep seeing everywhere. Yeah, horrifying. I'm sorry to make you laugh about it because I know it's a serious issue, but what are we dealing with here with these toxic toes?
Yeah, so they're COVID toes. I mean, it's interesting because you do have this sort of situation where you have new symptoms that appear with this particular virus, right? We heard about things like loss of smell, impact on the heart. And now this condition that's called COVID toes, that's what they're calling a chilblain, as you say, it kind of looks like frostbite in a way. You get these lesions on the toes. And at first, dermatologists weren't quite sure if there was a relationship here, but increasingly, talk to dermatologists, they're seeing a lot more of this phenomenon. Interestingly, not all the patients that they're seeing are testing positive for COVID, and they're thinking that maybe this is something that's a remnant of COVID. So after someone recovers, for example, and it appears to be that they either the inflammation in the body as a result of the virus, some inflammation seems to linger. Chris, this is something that you and I've talked about even in your own recovery. Or it could even be these tiny clots. We've talked a lot about the fact that for some reason this virus seems to be what's called prothrombotic, more likely to make you make clots. People have had these clots go to their lungs. There's been some rare cases of people developing clots causing strokes. And now it could be that these clots are actually causing little damage in the small blood vessels in the toes. So luckily what we're hearing is that it's not serious. I mean, it's painful, but it's not indicative of a more serious disease or anything. It tends to go away on its own. But there's another thing, another sort of phenomenon of this particular disease, COVID-19, that seems to be emerging.
Yeah, I'll give you a little spot check after the show tonight about what's going on with that. But look, the mystery of this keeps unraveling, which takes us to our next headline, which is and also deals with what this is doing in terms of clotting. There may be another medicine available to more severe cases to help with duration and exposure. What have you heard?
Yeah, this was, again, really interesting. I mean, if you're someone who's, we're seeing the emergence of a new disease here, Chris. So, for the medical establishment, there's a lot of curiosity here and investigative work that's going in to try and figure this out, to figure out what's tying all these things together. What is the unifying theory? Respiratory disease, yes. Loss of smell, cardiac disease, GI symptoms, COVID toes, and now this idea that people may need to be on blood thinners when they develop this disease as well. So here's what they found. It was a study of about 2,700 patients, and these were sick patients, Chris, who a certain percentage of them, when they were going on the ventilator, they were finding that somewhere between 60 and 70% of those patients were not surviving. Okay, those same patients, if they were on a higher dose of a blood thinner, the mortality rate was closer to 20 to 30%. Still awful, but about half of what it was if you weren't on the blood thinners. So the scenario typically, if someone is in the intensive care unit, Chris, oftentimes they're started on low dose blood thinners because they're immobile. You want to prevent clots from forming. And now there's concerns about clots, and they seem to do better. So again, this is brand new. We're learning together. But this idea now that people who are developing this coronavirus infection, developing the disease, COVID, might benefit from blood thinners, at least at the point where they become more seriously ill, I think is becoming real. It's a razor's edge, yes, because if you give blood thinners, what could happen? People could start to bleed. So you've got to make sure you're getting enough to be beneficial, but not too much to then also cause a problem.
Scary learning curve here. That's why the healthcare workers are so important, and we don't want to put them under any more stress than we need to. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, as always, value added. Thank you, sir.
Call me later.
I will. You can use that line. Agony of defeat. It's yours. Get another gift. There's 2 eyes and 1 mind. All right, another COVID medical mystery. More reason to believe that this virus has been here and making us sick for much longer than we thought. The chief medical examiner in Chicago, in the area there, is revisiting deaths. Why and how far back? Wait till you hear the answers next.
Sweetheart, do my forearms look bigger?
They look the same.
I've been spinning faster recently. I think they're getting bigger. Feel them.
Yeah, they kind of feel bigger.
Yeah, cool.
Switch to progressive and you can save hundreds. You know, like the sign says.
Explore. Enjoy. This is your afterlife.
It's all good. Can live forever.
Adversity came to town and said, show me what you're made of. So we showed our people, sourcing and distributing more fresh food than anyone. Our drivers helping grocers restock their shelves. How we're helping restaurants open pop-up markets and encouraging all Americans to take out to give back. Adversity came to town. So we looked it in the eye. And told yes, and voice first.
This is an athlete, 20 reps deep, sprinting past every week in our softest, smoothest fabric. She's confident, protected, her strength, respected. Depend. The only thing stronger than us is you.
Keep your employees and customers safe. Call Janicane today for total facility cleaning and disinfecting. Safeguard your business. Safeguard everyone. Janicane.
पूरा full day.
These days,
चलो जल्दी लो.
That's why we're working together is more important than ever. AT&T is committed to keeping you connected so you can keep your patients cared for, your customers served, your students inspired, and your employees closer than ever. Our network is resilient. Our people are strong. Our job is to keep your business connected. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do.
There's no better story than your story. And Ancestry can help you discover it. You might just find the more you learn about your family history, the more you'll want to know.
Is the most permanently placed quantum in America.
The reader wants to know that celebrities suffer too. That's what our boy. That's what tabloids do. Blackmail, extortion, and kill.
This replay is brought to you by EAU.
May 17th at 10.
Will all be considered into active cells and put to make the order. Introducing Immunity, finally, a supplement combining all of the most powerful immune support ingredients into one. Vitamin C, zinc, garlic, elderberry, echinacea. Visit immunity.com for the 5 ingredients you need. Conveniently in one supplement. Support your immune system, improve your overall health. Doctor formulated, natural ingredients, and self-verified
Spike Lee, coronavirus vaccine fears tomorrow at 8.
All right, in Chicago, where cases are still climbing, the medical examiner is taking a second look at deaths from months ago. Why? Let's ask. Dr. Connie Nicolai is the Cook County Chief Medical Examiner. Doctor, thank you for joining us. I know you're very busy. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me, Chris. The first case of COVID-19 in Cook County was reported on March 16, 2020. But there are areas in California, especially Santa Clara County, where they found cases much earlier than the first diagnosed case in the United States. We want to do our due diligence to find if there are cases in Cook County that cover Chicago and the neighboring suburbs. If there are cases that are due to COVID-19 that may have been missed, we want to do our due diligence to help public health to see how this virus spread in Cook County. We're looking at cases from November 2019 to look at cases where we determined the cause of death is due to pneumonia or due to myocardial infarction, which is basically a heart attack, to see if this could be due to a virus or due to some traumatic event, and see if we can send tissue to CDC and see deaths due to COVID-19. Most of the time, natural deaths like pneumonia and heart attacks, the patients are going to a hospital, they die there. These usually don't come to our jurisdiction. They don't need a medical examiner to investigate these deaths. The treating physician signs out these death certificates. But if patients die at home or they die suddenly, these are cases the medical examiner's offices usually investigate. And so for cases where we go,
Let me just ask you some context. Why November, not October or September? And what would be the value in identifying what kind of cases turned out to be COVID?
We're looking from November 1. If needed, we can go further back. But this is what we want to start off from. The reason we want to do this is to see exactly how this virus came to Chicago and the neighboring suburbs and how it has spread. It will help public health, it will help the residents of Cook County understand how this disease came to Cook County.
Tony Fauci, you know him obviously from the President's Task Force, he spoke about our curiosity here. This is part of his.
When you look at autopsies now, you're seeing things that we didn't expect. We thought it was all primary viral pneumonia. Then when you look at the thing, there was a thing called microthrombi, which means platelets aggregate and thrombosis form. And that may be why people who are in that situation seem to be doing well. And then all of a sudden they rapidly and dramatically deteriorate.
Here's what spooks me about this, Doctor, and I love your perspective. It seems that you and the scientific and clinical community keep learning more about this virus that is confusing, that you can't see, that it keeps surprising you and killing people in weird ways. And at the same time, we seem to be rushing to reopen. What is your perspective on the mysterious nature of this and how you reconcile that with the race to reopen?
We don't know much about this virus. We're still learning about it. How long does it last on surfaces? How long does it last in a dead body? So we're continuously learning about this virus. We've seen cases, younger patients, teenagers, dying from pulmonary thromboembolism, where we found that they tested positive for COVID-19. So yes, it is causing thrombotic events. It is causing strokes in younger patients. So we're still learning about this virus, and we still don't know everything about it. It can mutate. And about the stay-at-home order, I think we don't have enough testing available to see how prevalent that disease is. And that is what I can say from a pathological or forensic point of view.
It's an interesting thing. There's so much desperation to have this end, and yet what we need most to give confidence to people to allow it to end and go out and restart our lives are the tests, right? Because that's the only way that people like you can have the data to give someone like me the confidence that it's okay to go outside. And we're not doing the one thing. Do you have enough testing equipment and material that you need to assess the data in your own community?
We have testing available to test possible COVID cases. We don't have tests available to test all the people in the community. And so we don't know how prevalent it is in the community.
And every time you test, you end up seeing a spike because you wind up having all these new cases. There's a lot of unknown out there. Dr. Arukumar, thank you so much. Please feel free to get in contact with us. We'll check back with you about what you're finding and what you need people to know about. See this as a platform for you to speak to the country.
Thank you for having me.
All right, God bless you. Be well. All right, pushing back on reopening, by the way, just as a matter of perspective, this isn't about denying the need. It's about making the best choice to reopen in a way that makes us more likely to succeed. People are going home, okay? And at the same time, crops are being destroyed because of lack of demand. And just think about how many restaurants have workers out of job because there's no customers. What a weird confluence of problems. How do we solve it? Chef Jose Andres has an all-in-one solution to address the need. I'm telling you, he's as close to a superhero as I've met, and he's here next.
A new CNN Global Town Hall. Former Vice President Al Gore, Director Spike Lee, and author of The Coming Plague, Lori Garrett, join Anderson Cooper and Dr. Sanjay Gupta for Coronavirus, Facts and Fears, live tomorrow at 8. You wouldn't accept an incomplete job from anyone else, so why accept it from your allergy pills? Flonase relieves your worst symptoms, which most pills don't. Get all-in-one allergy, 24 hours with Flonase. Looking forward to it.
When bugs move in, we strip out and spray. And spray. And spray. Well, we used to. With new Orl Home Defense Max Indoor Insect Barrier, one simple application kills and prevents bugs in your home for up to a year without odors, stains, or fuss. It's the modern way to keep bugs away. The new Orl Home Defense Max. Bugs gone, stress gone.
Do you have a life insurance policy you no longer need? Now you can sell your policy, even a term policy, for an immediate cash payment. Call Coventry Direct to learn more.
We thought we had planned carefully for our retirement.
But we quickly realized we needed a way to supplement our income.
Our friends sold their policy to help pay their medical bills. That got me thinking, maybe selling our policy could help with our retirement.
I'm skeptical, so I did some research and called Coventry Direct. They explained life insurance is a valuable asset that can be sold.
We learned we could sell all of our policy or keep part of it with no future payments. Who knew? We sold our policy. Now we can relax and enjoy our retirement as we had planned.
If you have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify to sell your policy. Don't cancel or let your policy lapse without finding out what it's worth. Visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if your policy qualifies. Or call 1-800-651-0202. Coventry Direct, redefining insurance.
My home is my sanctuary. It's where I can just kick back and be totally comfortable in my own skin. You know what I'm saying? Rocket Mortgage understands that home is where I can be myself.
However you get comfortable in your home, Rocket Mortgage helps you feel comfortable financing one with a personalized experience centered around you. Rocket Mortgage. Push button, get mortgaged. Thank you.
Tomorrow, looking at the toll COVID is taking on mental health. How are people feeling? Start your day with the facts, the experts, the truth. Start your day with Allison Caroline and John Berman on Newsday. Tomorrow, starting at 6.
With programs that offer a fast track to graduation, vast industry and alumni connections, and affordable tuition, NSU Sharks will always have the edge. NSU Florida, prepare to dominate. AutoNation is giving you offers like never before. 0% for 84 months. No payments for 6 months. Your favorite vehicles on sale now at every AutoNation store. 25% off all service. Extended. Programs that offer a fast track to graduation, vast industry and alumni connections, and affordable tuition. NSU Sharks will always have the edge. NSU Florida, prepare to dominate.
I'm Ed Lavendera in Dallas, Texas. This is CNN. The United States produces more food than any other nation, by far. Yet, have you seen cities like this Scotia? Not traffic. People are lined up for miles for food. And at the same time, farmers are forced to destroy millions of pounds of crops. No market. Countless restaurants that wish they could be feeding hungry people. A maddening conflict of circumstances and no solutions from Washington. That's where a true American comes in. Chef Jose Andres. Welcome back to Primetime.
Thank you for having me.
If you were a superhero, you need to be Senor Saboroso. You are dealing with giving people food so you are also feeding the faith of better days to come. And your work on the ground has given you ideas about how to fix what you see as obvious problems. Tell us everything.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. The men and women of World Central Kitchen, we've already reached over 5 million meals. And one of the ways we achieve this is by bringing in with our system over 1,000 restaurants across 35, 40 states. And yesterday was a big day. We were able to influence a bill that is bipartisan, but between Congressman Thompson, Congressman McGovern, all of a sudden, bipartisan support from Congressman Davis from Illinois, and at the same time, in the Senate, Kamala Harris and also Senator Tim Scott. All of a sudden, we have this simple idea, which is called the FEED Act, that is a very practical idea, a good solution.
This replay is brought to you by EAU.
Policy is good politics.
So how does it work?
Well, very simple. Through Congress making sure that they are able to do this FEED Act, which is an old one that used to be called the Stafford Act. All of a sudden, governors are able to implement the funds that the federal government through FEMA, they can activate it, and all of a sudden, they can partner with local NGOs, local restaurants to take care of local problems. Governor Newsom has already implemented this in California to feed elderly. I don't know if you know the governor of New York, that you can give a good voice about this program that already is proving to be working very well.
I will connect you with the Love Gov right after this segment. But what I want to know, just so the audience gets it, is you've been able to coordinate the restaurants as outposts. And then how do you find the food and who makes the food? You know, let us know, how are you using different parts of the supply chain?
Listen, we need to understand that sometimes the bigger problems, they have very simple solutions. The systems before coronavirus began already was in place. We have the farmers. We have the distribution systems. America is all about distribution. We are the leader of distribution in the world. What we are trying to do is making sure that the systems keep working so you don't see long lines across the food banks of America at the same time that farmers are dumping their unsold product in the middle of the fields. Let's keep the system going. Let's keep America fed. Let's make sure that we don't have a humanitarian crisis by having Congress, by having the federal government investing in this crisis so we can look at the future with hope as we get ready to reopen in the weeks or months to come.
So the governors then have money to execute this plan, which works to coordinate the crops and livestock that people have but can't sell. And who do they get that stuff to? And who turns it into food and then gets it to the restaurants to distribute to people?
Again, it's the same systems as we have. Let's say I'm here in Maryland, I'm here in Virginia. We receive a lot of good produce from those farms. I go to the farmers market. The farmers markets, they don't sell the same amount of food, but somehow they keep this area fed. We need to make sure that the systems we have in place they don't stop functioning because now restaurants are almost all out of business. Many farmers don't have the same output. So now this is not only one solution. We need to make sure that the federal government comes with USDA and make sure that USDA buys from small farmers the product they are putting out. All of a sudden, that food may be used by restaurants, by little NGOs like us, by food banks that right now are running out of food, by organizations of collectives of faith. Is many ways we can be putting that food that America produces. We need to keep reinvesting in what we were doing before all this crisis began. What we need to do is don't stop the system so we can make sure that every American in need of food can have a plate of food for their families.
So the simple explanation is that the Food Act, the former Stafford Act, allows government to take up the space in the markets to create the demand for the farmers to deliver the produce to the restaurants to make the food and feed the communities.
You translate my English perfectly, but this is only one segment. We need to make sure that Congress, the White House, supports extra credits to support the food banks. We need to make sure that we increase SNAPs to make sure that the families have enough money through these hard times. We need to make sure that they can use SNAPs, what we call as food stamps, to be used in restaurants, to be also used to buy food online, to be used also to increase the quantity of fruits and vegetables that they can buy in the farmers markets. At the end of the day, this requires a 360-degree solution to fix this problem. I think it's very doable. We are already proving concept in many ways by the way we are able to interact with the different opportunities of the system. I do believe that every problem has a very simple solution and becomes an opportunity. That's what World Central Kitchen is trying to prove to everybody.
We will get on the phone with the people who are sponsoring the bill and start creating pressure to see what happens with it. I'll get you on the phone with the governor, and your English is perfect because everything you say comes from the heart and it is motivated by a very resourceful mind. So everything you say to me is perfect, Chef Jose Andres, and I thank you for feeding America.
Thank you, and everybody should go back and read The Jungle of Upton Sinclair. Everybody has to go back and read again John Steinbeck, The Grapes of Wrath. Many of those things, they happened before. We need to learn from the past so we can come with the right solutions in the present so we don't have a problem in the future. Food is the solution of the many problems we face. Let's make sure that Congress, White House, we put those solutions working one bill at a time.
Chef, God bless. I love you. Thank you. All right. From feeding America to healing America, our medical heroes, you know they're risking their lives. And they ask us one thing. So many of us say, oh, I love them. Are you showing the love? Next.
If you have a garden, you know weeds are low-down little scoundrels. With Roundup Sure Shot Wand, you don't need to stoop to their level. Draw the line. The Sure Shot Wand extends with a protective shield to pinpoint those pesky bedfellows. It lets you kill what's bad right down to the root, while comfortably guarding the good. Draw the line with the Roundup Sure Shot Wand. Roundup brand. Trusted for over 40 years.
Need life insurance? Select Hometown Jacob 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And select Bounty White Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
Our secret? At SelectQuote, we aggressively comparison shop highly rated companies to find you the company with the best rates. Why pay more? Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Please listen. This is important. Anyone can be affected by the prescription opioid crisis. If you think you've been hurt by Purdue or its prescription opioids like OxyContin, you may be entitled to compensation as part of Purdue's bankruptcy, but you have to file a claim. It can be filed by you, a legal guardian, by survivors or relatives of people who have died or are disabled. The deadline to file is June 30, 2020. For more information, visit PurduePharmaClaims.com.
At Bayer, we're discovering more about the links between heart and kidney disease. So George can keep discovering new adventures. At Bayer, this is Wiry Science.
house. Our homes. Overnight, they became our offices, schools, and playgrounds. All those places out there are now in here. That's why we're still offering fast, free 2-day shipping on thousands of items, even the big stuff, and doing everything it takes to ensure your safety, so you can make your home everything you need it to be. Wayfair, way more than furniture.
Cover it up. That's what I did when I started losing my hair. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way for me to keep my hair. Keeps sends me clinic-approved treatments that can't stop my hair loss, which means no more covering up. Go to Keeps.com and learn more.
The biggest week in television is almost here. Starting May 11th, enjoy free access to the best shows and movies from favorites like HBO, Showtime, Stars, and for the first time ever, Hulu and Peacock. Catch the show someone on Twitter says is OMG exclamation marks on lookout, or the one with the character with the eccentric name. Whose Francois Fred is. Even the one that's inspired all those memes. Oh, there they are. Everyone's got a show to recommend. Get ready to watch the best for free during Watchathon week.
Will all the considered activate cells and treat the way to the building.
The internet firm, the brick and mortar business on top of itself.
CNN Tonight with Don Lemon coming up next.
All right, it is National Nurse Recognition Day. It's actually the beginning of National Nurses Week, May 6th to 12th. It's still not really official. You know, nurses have fought for 30 years for Recognition Day. President Reagan finally made this day, May 6th, official in 1982. The fight has been going on from the 50s. Nurses recognize the whole more than they deserve it now. As Churchill said during World War II, never have so many relied on the efforts of so few. You've seen the images of them working overtime in crowded hospitals, some without enough PPE. I'm sorry, Mr. President, but that's the truth. You've heard the emotional stories. Nurses giving dying patients their personal selfies so they can say goodbye to their loved ones. 3 million registered nurses in the U.S., the highest percentage of healthcare workers. Thousands have come here to New York City volunteering to help fight this. Thousands of nurses have also paid the price for their efforts in tracking the virus themselves. The CDC says 10 to 20% of the infected are healthcare workers. Many have fallen. Caius Jordan Kelly, who spoke to his sister here in Maryland. He was an assistant nurse manager at Mount Sinai West Hospital in Manhattan. He died on March 24th, just 48 years old. His last words were to his sister, "I love you," going back to sleep. 54-year-old Lisa Ewald worked for more than 20 years as a nurse at Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit. She died on April 1st, a week after telling family that she tested positive for COVID. Lisa's niece says she cared so much more about other people than she did herself. And just last week, Tina Reeves lost her battle, a nurse working at the Pickaway Correctional Institution in Ohio. Public servant for 14 years. She leaves behind 3 kids and 10 grandkids. The list of victims is far too long to name every single one, but you should keep them in your heart. Because despite these dangers, heroic nurses put smiles on their faces and uplift patients and one another. You've seen these TikTok videos. God bless them for having the energy to do it. Today, all over the country, there have been celebrations in their honor. Applause, signs, messages of support on social media from everyone, celebrities, politicians, sports teams. But here's the thing. If you ask them, what can we do for you? What can we get you? What do you need? To a person, no matter where they work across this country, they say the same thing to me. stay home. Please do what you can to keep cases down. So my question is, how many of us who say we love them don't really show that love? My message for all of you on this day is show the love. Do what you can to keep cases down. Your choice isn't just about you. You know now that it affects others, including maybe them. And how about our government? Get them the damn PPE they need. Have it made in this country. Remember Rosie the Riveter. These are desperate times, everybody says it. How about having desperate times call for desperate measures? Really, America can't muster making gowns and masks when we made aircraft carriers and B-24 bombers? Also, here's something else that would be really great for them. A new bill in the House from New York Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney. Now, the bill would forgive student debt for all healthcare workers who are literally putting their lives on the line to save others. There's precedent for this. We do it for the military, and we should, okay? I think it makes sense to do it for these heroes as well during this time. What do you think? We certainly give a lot more money to a lot less worthy causes. And think about it. What do we do for them? We do the applause. At night here in New York City, I try to show it to you on a regular basis. Why? Because I want to remind all of us of our interconnection and our interdependence, and that we recognize what they're doing. So many of them are putting up with so much. Remember Dr. Neofredi that I had on last night? Volunteering 12-hour shifts in a COVID ICU. That's not the job she does. She's an orthopedist. She volunteered. And in this country, kicked back her green card application. She's from Canada, by the way, before you start playing any race games. And why? Because people aren't being recognized for their value. And that's what I hope we remember today. These healthcare workers, especially nurses for today, they deserve more than applause. They deserve that we give our best efforts, that we use our head to craft great policy, that we don't cave to political considerations. We know the need is great. The need is great for them too. They're watching people die on a daily basis from a disease we don't even understand. Don't they deserve, and don't frankly you and the rest of this country deserve, that we do smart things that show that we value people's lives enough to make moves that will ensure they have a chance to live those lives. So, I want to show your thanks. I hope that these nurses get shown the same love by all of us that they give every day. Thank you for watching CNN Tonight with D. Lemon starts right now.
Listen, they love the applause. We know that. They love the accolades, but more than anything, I think the most important thing that you said in all of that is what do they want most? They want us to stay at home because they realize the best thing that they have right now is for people to stay at home and to socially distance themselves from other people so that they can keep the cases down until there is something that works on this virus enough to keep people from getting sick or until there is a vaccine. And that's it. That's what they want the most. So listen to the people who are on the front lines. And Chris, I have to say, you and I bicker, we joke around. That was really great of you to do that. So I applaud you, but more than anything, and I think you'll appreciate this, I applaud the nurses.
They deserve it. And I know that you will do them justice as well as you always do. You know how to look out for people. You are a rare heart, my brother. You are a rare heart. I love you. I wish you a good show. I hope it's good because it's got to overcome that tie.
This is my, I don't know what that is. One that you did.
I'll give you back this tie because you need it.
The one that you did not steal from my office.
That's for sure. That's how I say it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. You as well. Thank you. Have a good evening. I love you. Thank you so much. This is CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lemon. We have got a lot of breaking news for you tonight. A lot tonight on the coronavirus. It has killed more than 73,000 Americans. And almost a bumbling response to all of it.
A police pursuit comes to a crashing stop. A child along for that dangerous drive. And the dramatic video on just one station.
Disbelief after a young woman loses her life in a hit-and-run horror.
New in town, a shopper shouting threats at a co-enforcement officer after he's asked to wear a mask. social distancing, the Cinco de Mayo fiesta failed on just one station.
A new system to help with supply shortages on the front lines. The governor calls it a game changer.
And the president admits getting back to business will cause more coronavirus cases.
Will the nation just have to accept the idea that by reopening, there will be more cases?
Hopefully that won't be the case, Jim, but it could very well be the case. He's quarantined in his condo because of a health condition, but his board says he's got to let the bug exterminator come in and make his monthly rounds, or else, if you refuse to let them gain entry to your unit, you are subject to a $25 fine. Can they force him to open his door during the pandemic? The answer to that question and many more, and help me have them.
Hello and welcome. I'm Craig Stevens.
I'm Ducky Zerani. The news at 10 starts right now.
This is 7 News. Now it's in a wild ride on I-95.
This happening as rush hour is just starting here.
Ends with a crash.
The vehicle now backwards. The front bumper comes off
and smash.
They're breaking the back window on the driver's side.
A child saved from the back seat.
There's a child. They got a child.
Chaotic chase on just one station.
Hello again, everyone. Police say that one car crashes across 2 counties.
Well, now we're learning new information tonight about the young boy in the backseat during this dangerous drive. I think Sheldon Fox is in North Miami-Dade, where it all came to a dramatic end. Sheldon.
A need for speed, Craig and Delphi. It's what a woman had until she was stopped in a dramatic way on I-95. She's not been named yet, but she left her mark. Hysteria happened.
The vehicle now backwards. The front bumper comes off and it's up against the wall here.
And a tire screeching, accident causing, high-speed chasing, maneuvering miss on I-95.
Police officers exit their vehicles with weapons drawn.
And now for the takedown.
Dragging the driver out of the car there.
A Highway High Wire Act ends safely and injury-free south of the Golden Glades on 95's southbound lanes. The chase, part of which was caught on a Tesla's cameras, began after 3 in Hollywood. Cops say they first spotted the car driven by a wanted woman involved in multiple robberies. They say they tried stopping her there, but she zoomed off southbound, prompting a pursuit and an army of police to eventually close in. The drama captured exclusively by 7 Skyforce and Ralph Raber, who called the action on live TV.
They're breaking the back window on the driver's side.
Wild as it was, and with charges pending for that driver, there's another part of this story, and it has to do with who else was in that car.
They're taking a child out of the back seat there. They're taking a child to another area here.
The young boy, with stuffed animal in hand, was taken to Hollywood PD and was sent after the chase to be in custody of Child Protective Services. He was also seen with this woman.
Are you the child's mother?
She didn't answer. The woman who drove it now in custody. 7 News there as it was towed to the police station, but back at the scene.
Where the flyover is on the Golden Glades there is where it's starting to back up.
Traffic in these strange times was uncharacteristically heavy.
Trying to do that quick maneuver we've seen done before.
And not because more people are back to work. And police said that during the chase, they were unaware that there was a child on the inside of that woman's car. They said that woman again was wanted for robbery, and they brought victims over to the crash scene to see if they could identify that woman. More on this to come. We're live in North Miami-Dade tonight. Sheldon Fox, 7 News 19.
Heartbreak at the hospital after a hit-and-run horror claims the life of a young woman. The night team's Jeff Lennox is live at the scene of that deadly wreck. He's in Miami. Jeff.
And Delphi's here in Miami tonight. You can see the scene left behind here. The windows are boarded up, glass and debris all over the place, some pieces of the car down there. And here tonight, police are still looking to make an arrest in this investigation.
This is a very unfortunate situation. One person has lost her life. 2 others remain in critical condition.
A deadly hit and run put investigators to work late Tuesday night. A 4-car crash near the 3600 block of North Miami Avenue sent several people to the hospital. And now one family is grieving a tragic loss.
And we're trying to see what we can do to be able to give those families closure.
Police say a speeding Ford Mustang T-boned a Subaru around 9:30 at night. A woman in her 20s was ejected from the Subaru and killed. 2 others in that car rushed to the hospital. Miami police say the other vehicles involved were not badly damaged. The crash busted several windows of this furniture store, took down a street sign, and left debris scattered throughout the road. Family members were seen outside Jackson Memorial Hospital, and Wednesday afternoon, others stopped by the crash site. Now the search is on for the driver of that Ford Mustang, who police say abandoned the car and then ran off.
We're asking anyone if they were in the area to call us with information.
Okay, so if you were a witness to this deadly accident or have any information that could help out, you're asked to contact Miami Police. Live in Miami tonight, Jeff Lennox, 7 News, 19.
Well, what was supposed to be a date turned into something much more dangerous. There's a gunshots ringing out at the Montclair complex off Miramar Boulevard near Red Road in Miramar overnight. Officials say a man got pistol whipped, and his roommate got shot after the man's date turned into an ambush. That girl who we met through a dating app reportedly showed up with 2 armed men. She and the men took off. The roommate was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay.
And new here on the 19th night, anger boils over at a grocery store. A shopper delivers a menacing message after he was told he'd have to wear a mask. My name is Franco White. Is at that Miami Beach supermarket where he was turned away. Franco.
And it's not what you're about to hear. See what you're about to hear. But a worker was verbally attacked when she was just doing her job, trying to keep those in this store healthy and safe. You're listening to disturbing video.